Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Stephen D. Kelly, and this is the Stephen D. Kelly Show. And you missed out on all the fun stuff I was saying in the last 5 minutes, but oh well. That's what you get if you don't tune in live. Ha! Anyway, but those of you that are tuned in live, thank you for doing that. And those of you that are listening via a recording, oh well, thank you anyway. But obviously tonight is an important show. Everything we do now is extremely important, and every show now may seem a little bit redundant, but at the same time, I can't even possibly say all the things I want to say. But let's start out by saying it's now 6:05 p.m. It's February 12th, 2026. It's now 59 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy in La Puente, California, and I have no problem telling you where I am. I'll give you the address. The motherfuckers aren't going to come here and fuck with me. Hell, the NSA is across the street. Hey, Ed. We'll be talking about you again tonight. Anyway. So the title of the show tonight, and like I said, when I woke up, I couldn't remember this for crap, but then it kind of came back, and I think this is pretty much what I wanted to say. But the title of the show tonight is, I Told You So, and you're going to stop pedo Trump from starting World War III? Question mark? Now, I don't know if that'll happen, but I think that, I saw a meme today, and I thought this was pretty good. And it showed a thing that looked like the Hoover Dam and a little town at the base of the dam, and then, of course, a billion acre feet of water behind the dam, and the dam was starting to crack. And the title of the dam, the name of on the dam was Our Family and Our Jobs. And then, of course, the water behind the dam had a label, and it was Biblical Levels of Violence. And then the little city at the base of the dam was called Government Pedophiles, or shall we say pedophile-controlled government. And I guess what they were saying was that dam is getting ready to break, and biblical levels of violence are getting ready to come down upon the authorities of the world. The ones, you too, you know who I'm talking about. All of you guys that are going to put your life on the line to defend the pedophiles, of which they all are. We'll talk about it again. Of course, that's redundant. But how could we not talk about Pam Bondi? Holy fucking shit. And she does this shit while wearing a cross. I noticed the cross is starting to disappear, and some people have pointed out she's not really a Christian. She's a Christian Scientist, which is some kind of bullshit, I guess. But, oh my gosh, did she humiliate Trump? And yet Trump, the retard, goes on his private propaganda thing, which should be illegal, and says that she was 100% winning, and that Massey guy is a loser and everything else, and Russia. It's like nobody was talking about Russia, but they do talk about pedophilia. They do talk about Epstein. Of course, she's supposedly a law enforcement, head of the Justice Department, and you got to wonder, first of all, why does the fucking White House have anything to do with justice or law? There seems to be a little bit of conflict here. Anyway, so what happens when my God, she wouldn't look at the victims. Right away, first of all, they had about, half a dozen or so women stand up in the back and say, yeah, we are victims. And then they asked them, they said, how many of you have been interviewed by the Justice Department? How many of you have tried to speak with the Justice Department and been turned down? And they all were. That bitch Pam Bondi didn't talk to one of them. And when she was asked to turn around and apologize to the victims for not doing anything or speaking to them, but for actually divulging their faces and names in the public while redacting the names of the fucking perpetrator, pedophile scum. And stop saying elite. We know what the fuck they are. They're not the elite. They're something else. We'll get into that bile stuff. Anyway, and then she went and said things like, I'm not going to get in the gutter. She kept saying this, not going to get in the gutter crap. And she had a woman, I guess, Democrat, I assume, Jewish senator or something. And she said that this woman the senator was engaging in anti-Semitism by her line of questioning. And she said, I'm sorry, excuse me, hello, how dare you? My grandfather died in a concentration camp and you're going to accuse me, a Jewish woman, of anti-Semitism. What the fuck? As you're wearing that cross and defending a fucking pedophile. Now, once again, the issue has turned, at least as far as the main narcissist head ego person who is extremely dangerous at the moment. And of course, I'm talking about Trump, who is only one tiny portion of the problem. But he's a portion that can start World War III, which he is in a big hurry to do, which is what we're talking about tonight. So here's a couple of things I'm going to throw out there before I go any further. World War III is right around the corner, for sure. The attack in Iran is going to turn into World War III. China and Russia are involved. Every day they become increasingly more involved. They're not going to let this happen. Why are they not going to let it happen? Because they know now it's a bunch of satanic, cannibal, baby-eating pedophiles. And they know there's no tolerance of them any longer. And they know that all the American people that they were withholding their wrath from have condemned themselves by doing absolutely fucking nothing. You know, except for maybe try to sell some Bitcoin. But that brings me back to the other thing that y'all is going to happen. Y'all should know it's going to happen. And that is you're all going to lose your fucking jobs. Now, if you have a little market, I mean, you already know what happens when Walmart comes in town or whatever. But if you have a job involving a keyboard, if you are a so-called white-collar professional, you know, anything above, you know, McDonald's, whatever, this kind of thing, you will be replaced by AI. It doesn't matter how much skill you have or how much better humans can do it. You're going to be replaced by a stupid fucking machine, and you're going to pay for it. They want you dead. They don't need you. They don't need your code. They don't need your programming. They don't need your web pages. They don't need your graphic arts. They don't need your accounting. They don't need your number crunching. They want your bodies in the military, of course, obviously. Like that's going to happen. But anyway. So what was the title again? I Told You So. I guess, you know, before I go any further, I should just say one more time. They eat children. I like that little video from that little girl that did it. And she was like, you know, she had the proper levels of mad. She said 3 times, she said, they eat children, they eat children, they eat children. Hello? What part of this are you not getting? Is it registering? You know what Jeffrey Epstein said? I mean, my God, I don't even want to talk about all the things he said, but he said a lot of shit and it came out, and these motherfuckers try to hide this shit. He said eating a little girl is like eating shrimp. You eat the body and toss the head. Hell, the Vietnamese, they eat the head too. I'm not talking about little girls, I'm talking about shrimp. I went out last time I had Vietnamese garlic shrimp. They thought I was, why don't you eat the head? Listen, people. I know that, first of all, like I said, war is coming. They're trying to force it on us. They're trying to force us into a war that we're going to lose. And I'll just say that the aircraft carriers, the Lincoln, and soon to be the George Bush, sailing into the Persian Gulf area, these guys are screwed. Now, I know that Donald Trump talks a good game. I know the United States, and I know this is true, that they hide quite a bit when it comes to technology and our abilities. That's one thing we do. And of course, you know, yes, Russia's getting good. They get great at certain things, especially when it comes down to meat and potato stuff like ballistic missiles. And obviously we can't do hypersonic, but there are some things we can do. We do have scalar, and so does Russia, but that's a big secret. That's probably Trump's discombobulator. It's probably a scalar weapon. Anyway, they're afraid of that scalar, especially if guys like me start doing it. But any one of those aircraft carriers now are essentially sitting ducks. And that's because the weapons, the ballistic missiles, the hypersonic missiles, there's lots and lots of these things that they have specifically built for the purpose of taking out one of these aircraft carriers. And they only need to take out one to cause a big ouch. There are lots of money, and they have lots of soldiers on board, and they have lots of little support ships all around them. But now they have the electronics in place to make sure that those things are a little more precise than they were. They've gone to bullseye every time. They now have Russian avionics. They have Russian gear. Russia's launched satellites. China has provided gear. There is jamming systems to effectively knock out satellite stuff necessary. But anyway, bottom line is that this time around they're not going to fuck around. And of course, the United States, if you're not following this, and I'm sure most Americans, they don't follow this whatsoever. It amazes me when I find out just what people don't know. But the thing is that there is absolutely no reason, of course, for attacking Iran. And of course, remember when Trump said that the entire nuclear program was completely decimated in the greatest military operation in history, I guess that was bullshit, because now they want to, not just they're talking about the nuclear stuff, but they're also talking about ballistic missiles. They basically said they keep coming back with more shit. You know, guys like Kellogg and Witkoff, both Jewish, of course. You got to remember this. They're all Jewish. Anyway, he basically says, well, you got to stop building ballistic missiles. You got to stop building hypersonic missiles. You got to have to stop doing that. Oh, and also, just to rub it in, you're going to have to stop selling oil to China. You're going to have to, no more oil going to China. Now, of course, we already stopped all the Venezuelan oil going to China. And now Trump is actually planning, with this extra aircraft carrier in the area, to stop and take over any tankers going to China. Now, I thought about that for a second. First of all, obviously, China is not going to tolerate that. Not going to tolerate that. They're going to give Iran whatever it needs to sink those fucking carriers. They won't do it themselves, but they'll let Iran do it. And Iran will do it. They're ready. But, of course, the United States want to do that because they want to nuke everything. And it's not because we want to win. It's because they want to save themselves. They don't. Now, when you wonder if there's any logic or any intelligence whatsoever to what they do, you really got to wonder. And, of course, when we say they, we're talking about the people, the humans in the Epstein file that, the ones that they say, stay out of the gutter. The Trumps and the baby fuckers, the baby killers, the baby eaters, those guys. They're not even the movers and the shakers. Even if you go up into the Rothschilds and the Wexners or whoever, you still haven't reached the pinnacle. You still haven't reached the elders under the Getty. We got to talk about the Getty tonight. Boy, oh boy. Anyway. So, you have guys like Netanyahu right now that are just left, what is it, Mar-a-Lago, to speak with Trump, to basically tell him, you attack Iran or else. And of course, Trump is saying, no, they're going to sink our aircraft carrier. Well, of course, that's what they want, you idiot. Yes, they are going to sink the aircraft carrier. Both of them, if you bring in two. They think, well, what if we bring in two? You know why they're bringing in two? Because they don't have enough missiles on all those destroyers to stop what's coming. So they're thinking, well, if we bring in two carrier battle groups, we'll have twice as many destroyers with twice as many anti-air systems, to take out those ballistic missiles. Really? So you increase the targets in order to increase your ability to thwart the attack that's coming on the original target. I mean, this is not logical. It's bad enough, World War III scenario, if they lose one carrier, but they're planning on losing two. No, this is not going to hurt us at all, is it? No. I guess, China will have to go for it. But you know what? They're going to. I just heard today that when China stopped the gallium from coming into the United States. And that's not even a rare earth. That's just that's more like a crystal. We use them a lot in lasers, gallium arsenide and what have you. But apparently, the so-called radar system in the F-35, the Wonder Jet, is very, very dependent on gallium. And from what I understand, all those F-35s out there that they've been fielding have, what do we call, ballast or weights that they got from sporting goods to, make up the missing weight of the non-existent radar. Under the idea that, we'll figure out a way to get some gallium in the future. Only 99% of it in the world comes from China. And the rest of that, the 1%, comes from Russia. So gosh, those Wunderjets, that's kind of like when they sent all the soldiers into Iraq without any kind of ceramic plates. They go, wow, those AK-47s go right through that soft body armor. No shit. Those of us in the business, we knew that. I've always had ceramic plates front and back. U.S. soldiers went into Iraq with nothing. But anyway, shows you how much they care. But okay, I'll tell you something, just so you remember who we're dealing with. Epstein, flat out, admitted to being a Baal worshiper, B-A-A-L. This is Babylonian. Of course, this is all coming from Phoenicia, but it wasn't that long ago, maybe a week or two ago, that Lord Rothschild, Jacob, the one that Epstein said he represents, said that they were of the direct lineage of Nimrod, who was a real person, who, when he was executed, took the entire occult, evil wickedness that they are, the baby killing, and took it underground, in tunnels, kind of like the Getty. Yeah, tunnels are coming out now. Anyway, the Iranians made a big statue. It looked like paper mache or something. It was supposed to be a cow, human form, supposed to be Baal, horns and all that stuff. Usually these things are made out of bronze, and they have open arms, and they have a fire inside, and they throw babies into it. At least that's what the, Phoenicians, Israelites did, whatever, Babylonians. This is all very ironic. But anyway, they lit this thing on fire. They squirted some gasoline on it. They had an obelisk next to it. The obelisk had burned. The cow guy burned pretty good. It looked really noxious smoke. But anyway, Israel got all upset. I mean, the first thing that came out was pundits out there on the internet started saying, oh, this is anti-Semitic. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. It's got a 5-pointed star on it. It's obviously a satanic symbol. It's Babylonian. It's, ancient Babylon, which was defeated by Persia back in the day. The same people that conquered half of Israel. They worship that stuff, but somehow that's anti-Semitic. I have no idea what Baal has to do with anti-Semitic. Oh, well, it's Canaanite. I'm sorry, Canaanite. You're going to say, okay, so Jews are going to claim Baal. All right, you want to claim Baal. Fine. So Netanyahu comes out and says that by burning a statue of Baal, that Iran is declaring war on Israel. Okay. So Baal, apparently, golden calf type thing. I mean, only man thing that they attribute to sacrificing children. I mean, remember, this is all built around sacrificing children. It's been going on for thousands of fucking years. They're clinging to this publicly, defending it as part of their culture and their heritage and their history. And we're supposed to go to war to defend these motherfuckers. Now, Russia and China, they have no illusion about who they're fucking fighting because it's in their fucking face every fucking day. And they don't have to listen to, Grok and the American media and all those motherfuckers, including Trump, that say there's no evidence. It's not credible. Bring us proof, when they control all organs of the media. And yet, they still say stupid, retarded things like QAnon, Pizzagate was a fucking conspiracy. It's obviously not a fucking conspiracy, and 3 million fucking printed documents say so. And it's like, as someone said today that I heard, they said these 3 million documents, these thousands of videos, JPEGs, etc., that's only the stuff that was recorded. What about the stuff that wasn't recorded? What about the 370 whatever gallons of sulfuric acid that Jeffrey Epstein purchased the day the FBI opened a investigation on him? Who at the FBI told him the investigation was coming, and what was the acid for? Now, I've purchased sulfuric acid before, and it wasn't super strong. I mean, I've bought it liquid and granular form, and we used it mostly for copper plating. Now, 2 gallons of this stuff is probably enough for, I don't know, 15, 20 gallons of solution, but what the fuck was this guy doing with this stuff? He wasn't making batteries. We know that. He wasn't making, he could have. Oh, he was, well, if he was, then where's the zinc and where's the copper? Did he order that too? No. What was he doing? Liquefying corpses. Taking slaves, little girls, out of their cells and dropping them into probably a vat. He probably poured it all into one big thing. Or he used, like the cartels do, they'll just keep dropping bodies into each 55-gallon drum until they're dissolved and repeat the process 6 times, however many victims, however long it takes for one body to be dissolved. He had plenty of time to do this. People are stupid. The evidence is not circumstantial. It's not third party. It's not hearsay. It's monumental. It's de facto. It's overwhelming. And yet the highest law in the land can do nothing but say Trump's innocent. That's all they can do. But it's not just Trump. It's guys like Wexner. It's guys like Rothman. It's guys like on and on. I mean, again, you look at the names, Lutnick. These are people that are running Trump. And you can't take them down. And I don't know, is it because they're billionaires? Is it because they're, dual citizens of Israel, very, 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 highly placed Jewish people? Or is it something else? Is it their magic, like me, and you try to kill me, you're going to die before you can carry it out? I don't know. I'm still waiting for the fucking FBI to come back. I remember the last time they were here, I yelled at them and you called them pedo enablers. You work for Satan. Oh, my God. Let me see. What was the title of the show again? I told you. I told you so. Does anyone here, anyone out there at all, have any doubt that these people, especially the people that work for the FBI, are all pedo enablers? You guys at the NSA and the CIA, what do we call you? Intertel? Old school mafia, pedo enabler, motherfuckers, satanic bastards. 28 minutes into this show. I mean, what's the point? What's the point? You guys, you all get it. Nobody's getting mad enough. But maybe, when everybody, all the, white people lose their jobs. Well, I guess they're still going to need people to assemble those F-35s and things, but I don't know if they could find AI and robots to do that, they would. But everyone else, especially the woman that supports me, she probably still thinks she's going to get a job. But for me, that's like the end of the world, okay? I see it coming, folks. If you don't see it coming, you are blind. Oh, yes, I'll just sell crypto. Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein ran it all, set it all up. Man, is there anything that these guys didn't set up? No, there isn't. They started way back when, obviously, but all this crap, this Palantir, this control system, this AI, COVID, the world as you know it, human genome. It all goes back to when Robert Vesco was still alive. Wow. They will not forgive Cuba for killing Vesco. Probably won't forgive me for my part in that either, but nothing they can do about it. But, they've completely surrounded Cuba. Naval blockade. They can't get any oil, gas, nothing from Mexico, nothing from Venezuela, obviously. Oh, but Venezuela says they're going to sell to Egypt, or not Egypt, but Israel. But but they deny it. Russia says they're going to start supplying oil, tankers of oil, to Cuba. Interesting, huh? What's the United States blockade going to do when real live Russian flag tankers start sailing in? That's funny. Anyway, the tankers now flying the Russian flag, they've got Wagner troops on board. Whoops. Got the phone on top of the wire. I wonder who the hell called me. That's from a bullshit call, probably. Anyway. Oh my God, there's people in my group posting. Hello, people in my group. What the hell's wrong with you? You should be listening to the show, not posting crap. Anyway. Yeah. So we're going to attack. Anyway, they've got armed troops. So what's going to happen? A helicopter's going to fly over and drop some troops. How's that going to work out? Huh? Battle-hardened Wagner troops. Straight from Ukraine or Africa. They're going to go up against those guys who are used to no resistance. Really? You're going to get a shootout with these guys. Then what? You going to bomb them? What do you think that's going to lead to? Outright, war. You don't think that if the United States starts taking out Russian ships, that Russians are not going to start taking out American ships? It's funny because Europe, when they cut themselves off, so-called Europe, they cut themselves off from Russian energy and forced themselves to have to buy really, really expensive American LNG, that we had to take over Venezuela to make sure that we could supply. They screwed themselves. Then along comes Trump, says we're going to take Greenland. Screw you, and Europe realizes that they're screwed. Then of course there's Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, it's all the Europeans' fault. Like Mertz says, oh, it's the Germans. They're not working hard enough. Even Maloney said, well, you guys just aren't working hard enough. Doesn't have anything to do with the government. But anyway, Europe isn't completely stupid yet. I mean, obviously, they are probably waking up to the fact that the, Khazars and their immigrant policies and all that Abraham shit is really destroying their whole culture. And the only one that's even doing anything to even say that it's even happening, they should stop doing that, is Russia and Putin, saying, wow, you guys, you're self-destructing, you're destroying your economies, your industries, you're destroying your culture and your people. What the hell's wrong with you? Jeez, y'all need Jesus. That's what Putin's basically telling them. And you know what? Because their need for money, they kind of figured that out. And Germany is leading the charge, followed by, obviously, Sitso over there in Serbia, and what's his face, Orban in Hungary. They're all for this program. But one by one, these countries are going to say, screw this Ukrainian bullshit, this Khazar mafia, Kiev crap, Khazar bullshit. And we need to get back in bed with Russia. You don't think that was going to happen? These stupid motherfuckers, the ones that think that they were going to be able to destroy Russia and turn Kiev into some dominant force on the continent, which would basically be in charge of the plunder that they were going to get from Russia, because they had more troops than everybody else and everybody's weapons, You didn't see the problems where that was going to go? I guess nobody saw that. But hey, Rothschild. Hey, gold, right? Rothschild, Khazars, Baal, New Jerusalem. Wow, it's sure not working out, is it? And yet, even now, Zelensky says, no, we won't give up a millimeter of our territory. Putin hates me. It's all about getting rid of me. Of course, European Union says, well, we'll make peace or we'll do whatever, but, obviously this Zelensky guy's got to go and there's got to be elections and all that, and so the people have got to be involved. Did you know that Ukraine threatened Hungary? It said that they're going to attack them militarily if they don't cease to stop purchasing Russian oil products. Seriously, Hungary is a member of NATO. Ukraine is not. They're threatening a NATO country. What the fuck is NATO? It's incredible. Anyway, people. So yeah, first of all, I was right. The levels of being right are just, again, overwhelming. But I was right about the tunnels. We all know now that Jeffrey Epstein was very much involved in tunnels. And, of course, everybody talks about the tunnels under his little island, which were relatively small. But the tunnels underneath Zorro Ranch were large. Zorro Ranch is obviously nothing compared to the Getty. But at the same time, Zorro Ranch is hooked up to the big system. The entire big system, which, as the protocols say, will be run under all the Western capitals, from which place we will blow them up with all their archives. I mean, my God, people, y'all fought World War II over the fucking protocols. Whole countries said it was true, and other countries said it was bullshit and a forgery and a hoax. Does that not sound familiar? You still have motherfuckers saying, Trump being the head of them right now, it seems like, saying that it's just a fucking hoax, a Democrat hoax. Epstein, Russia. You should be talking about the economy and the stock market. That's what Pam Bondi said. And they said, what the hell? Why have you not prosecuted any of the men who obviously were involved in not just having sex, but probably murdering and eating children? Why have you not prosecuted any? And she said, why are you not asking about Merrick Garland? Why are you not asking about this predecessor? Why are you not asking about how wonderful the stock market is doing? Look at the S&P. Look at the fucking Dow. Look at all that crap. Fucking bullshit. Do you own stock? Do you own Bitcoin? I don't. I don't have gold. I still have my Rolex, but so what? No, I'm not participating in this, but I'll tell you what I am participating in, the fucking war that you should all be joining me in. Now, when I say I told you so, a lot of people know that. A lot of people don't want to hear it. A lot of people don't want to hear it. You know who doesn't want to hear it? All the talking heads. All the people that have been ignoring me for all these years, all the so-called pundits, experts on either side of every issue. The whole world is talking to this, and yet, where are the people going, wow, that Stephen Kelly guy's been saying this shit for 20 years, and here it is in black and white in front of our fucking faces in gory detail. And still, it doesn't include a hint of the shit going on under the Getty. I've cut right to the fucking chase, and you guys are still freaking out over the crap that happened in an island and in a damn apartment place in New York. It's not even anything compared to the hundreds of thousands of children that get the same shit happening to them underground. I talked last week about the video of Epstein torturing a little naked girl with a magnifying glass. Imagine what they do in industrial quantities with hugely high definition film and theater so that they can entertain their sick selves. And they'll call it religion because it's their religion. It's Baal worship. It's devil worship. It's Satanism. It's not Canaanite. It's not Phoenician. It's not Hebrew. It's not Israelite. It's fucking Satanism. Nobody wants to say that it is Satanism. Fuck the little cultures and whatever they called it. They were worshiping Satan. Only Satan requires blood. They said so. They say so in their temples. They say that it's necessary for people to die in order that they should live because their God requires blood. Their God is not Jesus. Their God is not the Father, the creator of everything. The creator of everything does not want you to destroy his creation and spill blood. Only the jealous motherfucker, Satan, requires blood. Jealous. You know, that's interesting. I just noticed today NVIDIA is a play on words. It's a play on the word envious, one of the 7 deadly sins. Largest company in the world now, I suppose. I thought SpaceX was, but apparently NVIDIA is probably the richest company in the world. They're all in Taiwan, you know, making that computer stuff. Trump said, yeah, we're going to move half the stuff over here to the U.S. And NVIDIA says, no, you can't do that. Our supply chains are all on Taiwan. We can't just up and move everything. Isn't that interesting? When I ran for president, that was part of my platform. I said, we're going to remove it. We're going to relocate all of that stuff to the United States forcibly. All of it. If that means your supply chain, good. Good. Those are the kind of things you should be importing, not the stuff they are. But anyway, I thought that was amusing. But yeah, did I mention I was right? You know who else pointed this out to me? Victor Hugo. I'm going to do an interview with him on this coming Wednesday. And, you know, he's a very controversial guy. But, you know, he made a comment, which I think is extremely accurate. Now, this guy's in Poland, of course, which should tell you something about America. But he said it's amazing to him that I'm not having all kinds of interviews given what's going on with Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, isn't it? It's amazing. The silence is deafening. The I told you so is probably ringing in their heads. Instead, what are we listening to? You know, the retardation. And again, retardation, ignorance, whatever you want to call it, there is no forgiveness for this when it's the time is coming to pay. You know, we do have to talk about payment because we're reaching a time of no forgiveness. Yeah, people, it's true. I know that doesn't sound like me. You're going to go, what? What? Execution? But listen, people, the hammer came down. The book is open. There's enough evidence to convict all these guys. We don't even need to open the Getty. I mean, in a way, this is a great prelude to what's going to happen when the Getty gets open. The truth that comes out of that is going to be amazing. I don't know how much acid they have down there. Those motherfuckers are probably disintegrating bodies as fast as they can. Motherfuckers. If you don't think that this mission is important, you know, just think about how long it takes to dissolve a body in a vat of acid. You know, like a little 10-year-old girl. How long does it take to dissolve the corpse of a 10-year-old girl? You know, missing the good parts that they ate. You know, but all those carcasses that they have laying around that they use for, you know, shrines, those are probably all in acid. They're getting ready for us, people. Bitcoin was them getting ready for us. Crypto was them getting ready for us. Everything that they're doing to kill you with COVID and chemtrails, all that, that was getting ready for us, for what's coming because of Occupy the Getty. Now, the media can't stop it. Obviously, we're on fire right now. more and more people are waking up. I mean, it's really slow. It does it does kind of trip me when I think about how slow this is happening. I mean, sure, it's happening, but it's like, really? You think, I mean, okay, exponential, whatever, but hello, I'm getting old. My heart is getting old. I'd like it to happen a little quicker. And it's like the Trumpers. I mean, we post a lot of stuff, but now they're getting a little sensitive. The denial, the retardation, it's getting really strong. They're lashing out in defense of Trump, which is amazing, of course, because he's such an obvious pedophile murderer. But what was the last thing someone wrote? Something like, it was a two statement. I mean, this was like in response to a post of a meme for tonight's show. This was somebody responding before I even had my show. And I think the thing they were upset about was the part about, are you going to let pedo Trump start World War III? And they freaked out and they said, no, he's not a pedophile. He rejected Epstein. He rejected Maxwell. He said they were awful, blah, blah, bullshit, lies, cover up. You got it all wrong. Of course, I don't even need to paraphrase anymore because at this point that anybody that says that is fucking retarded. Now, does being retarded like that excuse you? Allow you to go on living? Allow you the power to give your power, your voice, your vote to these pedophiles? Now maybe you're like, Ed, and you work for them. You have a good life, a cushy life. You got a retirement. You don't have to worry about AI replacing you, because your stuff is something that AI doesn't do. Dealing with humans like me from a distance. You're going to take that money. You're going to keep on taking that money. And what are you going to tell yourself? It's not true. It's a conspiracy. There's no proof. There's no evidence. It's not credible. How can you do that? I mean, you could do that, and you could maybe convince yourself that that's true. Now, to all you people that convince yourself that that's true, should you be spared? You're not just enabling it, you're giving it life and allowing it to function so that it can carry out its massacre, its genocide, its murder of humans. You're allowing it, by your actions and your inactions, to continue to have life, to murder children from all over the world. You don't think these other countries are pissed off? They want to stop it. They wonder why we don't. They're waiting for us to say, hey, come in here and end this stuff for us because, we need your help. It's going to happen. Just like Britain. Britain's going to have a civil war. There'll probably be three sides fighting. There'll be the immigrants. There'll be the indigenous, English types. And then there will be the, Rothschild-controlled pedophile government. The Keir Starmers and what have you. What side are they going to be on? Oh, that's right. They're going to foment the fight. They're the guys that were importing all the immigrants to begin with. Of course, they did that on purpose. Yeah, it's all culture. It's all culture. It's crazy stuff. Where do you stop? Anyway, since we're almost over, I just want to remind you guys, it's like I myself am sick, very sick. I can't, I don't need to see this stuff. I already know what the answer is. I know what the solution is. I've been heavily involved in showing you guys what the answer and the solution is. And I suppose when the time comes and when we are able to do our mission and we are able to occupy the Getty and expose everything, I suppose I will be even more sick. But this is something that I need to control, assuming I live that long. But it's not easy. And yeah, I wish I had emotional support system in place. I don't. I guess that's part of the job. But I need you guys to kind of get sick too. I don't need you to get sick. I need you to get angry. You know, it doesn't matter if you're still hiding. If you don't want to get involved because you're afraid they're going to, you know, do something to your job or do something to your family. They're already planning on killing your family, and they already plan on destroying whatever is left of your employment within a year or so. Now, as I've predicted, Trump and Elon and Wexner and Lutnick and all these guys, all of them on the Epstein list, they're going to get executed. Okay, we can't stop that anymore. But the question is, again, all you guys that are supporting them, protecting them, taking your paychecks, you going to lie to yourself and say that it's just a conspiracy and we were wrong and there's no proof? You're going to put your head in the sand while you try to shoot us to defend these fucking monster pedophiles? Or are you one of them? Now, if you are a Baal worshiper, if you are a Satanist, just to make it simple, call it whatever you want, if that's your culture, if that's your thing, and you have not rejected it, soon you will be executed. We ask you now, those of you that are guilty of these crimes, confess. I've said this many times. Confess, you will not be killed. We will not cut your head off. We will put you in solitary for the rest of your life. But you need to confess. You need to stop killing. Donald Trump is a fucking insane, retarded maniac, and he will try to kill everybody in World War III. And just like fucking Netanyahu, a Satanist, a Baal worshiper, and a genocidal scum. All of these people need to go. Is that treason? No. That is self-preservation. Because these people hate us. These people think we're food. They think we're worthless. Goyim, it needs to end. That shit needs to be removed from the surface of the earth. All right, people, I'm going to end it, and I'm just going to say once again, I know this is where people hang up, but I need your support. Obviously, things are rough, and yes, the groceries I get, the cat food I get, the little bit of cash here and there, I still need technical help, obviously, badly. I still haven't been making videos. I'm still working on a laptop situation and getting that squared away to where I can make videos, but not there yet. As you saw tonight, it's still difficult. So, yes, I need your help. I need bodies. And do I need bodies? Hell, why are we not protesting in front of the L.A. office of the FBI? I mean, obviously, it's not going to be about Palestine now. It's going to be about Epstein. Why? This is our time. If ever there was a time, now is the time. We should be doing it. I don't care what their rules of engagement are. We are so righteous right now, and we need to get angry. So where's that groundswell, people? And don't expect me, almost 70-year-old man, to go out there and do it. Hell, they wouldn't even take me in Zelensky's army. They might try. Well, I would probably die. I wouldn't last very long. I'd probably die marching to the front, just having a heart attack from trying to carry shit. Let alone the stress of being attacked by the TCC. Yep, it's pretty bad. Those are our guys, though. Nazis. Genocidal Nazis. Anyway, guys, like I said, if you want to help me out, please use the PayPal. Of course, it's StephenKelly714@yahoo.com. And yeah, I'm getting hacked left and right, but if you could please send me something and use the friend or family thing, I would appreciate it. And like I said, all the white-collar jobs are going away, and I'm extremely vulnerable, and I don't want to have to try to support myself because it's like I'm way too old to be doing this stuff, and obviously my $1,000 a month, this isn't going to be enough. And now I'm not going to move into an apartment and downsize. Please, people. I figure I'd die here, with my animals and stuff. I've got roots, including animals in the ground. So I don't really want to go anywhere. But if I have to sit on that thing in the Getty and, mete out justice, I will. And then I'll die. But I'm getting very bitter. So you fuckers, you need to give up now. And you guys that are supporting them, you need to give up too. Because sooner or later, they're going to have robots to do your job, and they will have zero emotion. And guess what? You guys will be the first ones to go because they think you've got the, martial experience, the tactical experience. Anybody that carried a gun, they're going to get rid of you. Cops. You're the first to go. Yep, just like in Ukraine, that was the first thing they did is killed the cops. They went to Donbass the next day after Maidan. They rounded up all the cops and killed them all. They'll do that to you too. Pedophile enablers. There will come a time when you enabling won't save you. Remember, they don't care about your paycheck. You're on the way to being replaced by a bunch of Satanists. And they're not elite, they're Satanists. Anyway, people, once again, thank you for joining me. If you could help out, I would appreciate it. And if you have not joined the group, again, we had a little resurgence. We a lot of these people came from Italy, which of course means that Patricia is doing a lot of work. And I think she's working extra hard because she knows that I'm ready to die. So she wants to work extra hard so that, she's like, you're winning the mission. Your mission's almost there. It's like, why would you want to give up now? I'm not giving up. I'm ready to take a break. I mean, I think you guys have done the work. I think you got enough. I think we're going to win this battle. I mean, yeah, sooner or later you're going to have to go on without me. And again, I already, like I said, I told you so. Everything from here on out is going to be me repeating myself until we opened up the Getty and you can see what's going on down there. And it's not going to be like they're trying to say now that, oh, it's ancient stuff. It was cleared out in 2018. Hell, they're trying to use the Getty now to defend Trump. To try to say, why are you even talking about Epstein? Oh, Getty. By the way, Gavin Newsom, he was in a little interview and somebody asked him, and they said, hey, what's going on with you in AIPAC? You taking money from AIPAC? He couldn't answer the question. He's like, wow, that's an interesting. And the guy had a little mental breakdown right there. All he could say, it was very interesting that somebody would ask him that question. He couldn't believe it. Which leads me to believe that, yeah, he probably just recently took money from AIPAC. Probably a whole lot. Not as much as maybe he gets from Gordon Getty, but probably a significant amount. Anyway, people, like I said, if you haven't joined the group, Occupy the Getty / Stephen E. Kelly on Telegram. Bring your friends. I mean, what else can we do? Okay? Let's get this going because right now I'm counting the days. I don't know how many months before I'm homeless. I don't know how many months before everybody's homeless. I don't know how many. Hell, I figure we may be in World War III by this weekend. If not this weekend, the next weekend. When 2 carrier battle groups are in position. All those troops are ready. It's coming, people. Get ready. And I hope that I don't have to come back next week and say, I told you so. Okay? Because remember, what are you going to do about pedo Trump? What are you going to do to stop him from starting World War III? That's really what it comes down to. What are you going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to repeat myself until I'm dead. So that's all I can do right now. I'm going to do everything I can to wake you guys up and get you angry. Till they kill me or I die. And I already know they can't kill me, so got to keep working. All right, everyone. Once again, my name is Stephen D. Kelly, and this is the Stephen D. Kelly Show, and thank you so much for being here. I know it's the part that bores you. I'll just check real quick and see who's here. Let me see. We got any more people? Same countries. Let me just refresh and see if we got any fresh ones. Europe. We should have more countries from Europe. I mean, we got Great Britain, obviously. Hi, Jessica. And I don't know who's in Canada. You guys will have to send me emails or messages when we get back in the group and say, yeah, that's me over there in Canada. All right, folks. Once again, my name is Stephen D. Kelly, and this is the Stephen D. Kelly Show, and we are Truth Cat Radio. And I just noticed Mr. Kitten's face wasn't up there. I got to get him back up there because I think people love him a lot more than they love me, as they should be. All right? Good night. God bless. Adios, and goodbye.